Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Rob Barrington here, and I'm here with the results from the most recent weekend tournament. This is our pro-am, and honestly, the leader page only has one pro on it. The amateurs had a great week this week. We have a lot of players kind of out of the mix because they're playing in the World Championships, as you know, but this is still no small feat to kind of keep all the pros out of the mix, except for Ishmael. Ishmael Del Monte was the one pro that got to crack into the top 10. He was seventh with 70.33%. We had Brad Moss down there with 60% somewhere. We also had Sam Amer with 64.72. So some reasonable showings by the pros. I am nowhere near the top. I think I was sub 50% this last tournament, so I had a rough one. So you won't see too many of my results up there at the top. But here, great week by the amateurs. Good stuff, guys. Keep up the good work. And the best scores up here are for almost all the amateurs, only one pro. Great stuff, guys. So let's take a look at the results as they were achieved here. And the first board was kind of just like a disaster for everybody. It was a really rough one. Let's take a look at that one. So here is the results stream for board number one right below me here. And two spades by the north making two is your best score. This is such a weird hand though. And it is just depending on how you choose to deal with this south hand after a right hand opponent opens one club. And there were a lot of methods that were tried on this particular deal. One thing I want to discuss is you can bid three clubs directly with the south player's hand on this one with this nice 7-card suit over there, but that's going to show a preemptive hand, folks. At least for the robot it does. You know, in real bridge you might have different sorts of agreements and spots like this, but really, guys, that is a weak hand and a whole bunch of clubs. So we can't really be doing that with this hand. And really your only choice initially is to pass, right? Some of you tried a no trump. That didn't work out too well for you. Others tried various other versions of, you know, some sort of strongest showing bid. There's really nothing that shows this hand, unfortunately, especially when you're playing with the robot. So pass is your best spot. And now it goes a heart on your left. And now partner preempts with two spades. And this is where it's just, okay, I think passing ends up being, well, obviously, passing ends up being amazing, right? Because if you make two spades, like Karen Frank did on this one, you get 99.5%. And even if you're just going down one, as we can see when cycling down here, 79.1% for just letting partner play two spades. And to be honest, I wish I had let partner do that. It's unfortunate that when you do it this way, you just get to pass partner's preemptive bid, which honestly makes sense with this hand. You have a singleton spade, but that's to be expected, and partner shows at least 6. Now, you have a heck of a good hand, but you should know you don't have game. Partner has less than 10 points, and you should recognize this is pretty much a colossal misfit, right? Partner has spades. You have long clubs. You know partner's short in clubs because right-hand opponent has at least 3 of them. So this is a hand where, you know, discretion ends up being the better part of valor. Just passing with this hand will do wonders for your game. If you do anything else, especially if you do something dumb like I did, you'll end up in 3 no trump down a few tricks, right? I think I went down 3, but down 2 is enough to get you a poor result here as I cycle down. 2 spades, or honestly, the people here that jump to 3 clubs, it is preemptive, and as I show you, it's an aggressive weak overcall, so your hand is way too good, right? You might have missed a great game if you chose to do this. So you cannot afford to do that, even though on this one it ends up being 79.1%. So it's a good result for you. But here, when we get to the down 2s, it's 43.4, and then when you get to the down 3s or worse below, and this was a range of bad results, folks. You're down to 18.2%, which is, I believe, where I was. And now down 4s, down 5s, you know, we ran the gamut on this one, guys. Down 6 and 6 spades. Wow. All right. So this hand is just kind of like buyer beware type situation, but the best results are right here. And congrats to those of you who had the discipline to just pass partner's preemptive bid. And here you're going to do that pretty frequently with hands like this, right? Especially with the opponents both making calls on this hand. You're kind of out of this one. You know partner doesn't have enough for you to play game. I loved the attempt at 3 no trump by a lot of you, but you can see that's not going to work out well when clubs break this badly, right? You just don't have a source of tricks. You can try to set up spades. Those don't set up either, but even if they did, you have no way to get over to that dummy to take those spades if you end up making them good. So the moral of the story is staying low and getting a either plus score or minus 50 gets you your best result on board one. So congrats to those who got that. So here on number two, I can show you, my subpar result here. But honestly, I didn't think this was too far out of the realm of normal auction. And here's the issue. We have another tough hand to deal with as the South player. When right-hand opponent opens one diamond, we only have one bid, folks. There are a lot of people you'll see in the results that made a takeout double here, and that's just bad for business, folks, because you're distorting the shape of your hand in two very important ways. Number one, you're not showing your 5-card heart suit directly, right? And it's very important to do that. When you have a 5-card major, there are very, very few occurrences where you're going to be making a takeout double with a 5-card major. You're usually just going to be bidding your 5-card major. Even though you also have 4 spades, the real issue is partner might also pick clubs, the other unbid suit, and you have a 2-card holding in that suit. So here, I think it's very reasonable to bid a heart, and now when it goes a no trump pass back to you, I have to be honest, I was kind of happy to defend in this spot, right? I wasn't worried about bidding, right? And 2 spades here is kind of a huge overbid, and let's talk about that. You have to understand that you have a very big hand. You have 16. Your right-hand opponent opened the bidding, so let's give them 13. That's 29, right? And now we know that left-hand opponent has some sort of response, so let's give them the middle of their range, 8. That's 37 points. That gives partner 3 total points, right? They could have a little more, but not much more, right? Do you really want to be forcing partner to the 3 level and recognize, partner's going to pass spades when you can see this hand as it is face up here, right? But you don't know that when you're bidding 2 spades. Partner might just bid 3 hearts now. Do you want to play at the 3 level with this hand, especially queen jack tight in the minor suits here? Bad holdings, losers that have points in them. So here, it is important not to get too aggressive with this. If you're going to do anything to 1 no trump, just double, right? And if partner bids 2 clubs, let's say, you can kind of come back to 2 hearts and bail out that way. But I think the only players that played 2 spades that had an auction that made some sense was South overcalled a no trump in some spots, and a couple of the pros did this. Ishmael and I believe Sam Amer bid a no trump, and I believe Brad probably did too. They bid 1 no trump and then were transferred to spades and got to play 2 spades. But again, guys, look at this. That is a recipe for disaster in a couple of ways. Number one, you don't have a diamond stopper. Number two, you might just miss a beautiful heart fit here when you go about this in this sort of bid. So this is a very calculated risk, and there's a lot of risk to take on. So really, and for my money, I think the people that played 1 no trump on this hand on this auction had the right auction, right? Those of you that bid 2 spades got very lucky, and those of you that bid 1 no trump also got quite lucky. That partner transferred to spades and passed. So here you can see the people that played spades and made 9 tricks, which is pretty normal, get 74.7. But I have to say, folks, I don't love all these auctions that we saw in this here, especially like this one here. Doubling initially, no good, guys, no good. You don't want to double with this hand because we're missing out on our heart spot, right? So a lot of people up here were doubling and just luckily finding spades. Here's an auction I can kind of get behind this, even though it's not, it might be bad in spots where you're just beating 1 no trump and now you might go minus here, but double works out quite well because the partner does pick spades here. If they pick clubs, you can go back to hearts. Bidding 2 spades though with this south hand, I think is just off the menu, right? The only way you're ever going to be doing that in this spot is if you have way more values to be able to force partner to that level. And honestly, I do not like these minor suit positions, guys. These are recipes for disasters, right? It's 6 points that might be totally worthless, right? So evaluate your hand properly and just kind of stay. I think the best auction is just passing 1 no trump, to be honest, which you can see a huge portion of people were doing. You're either playing 1 no trump, and if you hold it to 1, you do okay. You're unlucky that a lot of other people got to play spades, but here, if you do go a little bit higher, you're in trouble, and also if you let them make more, you're going to get punished a little bit here. So here, I think 1 no trump, defending it is just fine on this hand. If you did that, don't worry about your 33.6. I think you did pretty well. And here we can see the best result you could achieve on board 3 through kind of a normal auction is 3 no trump down 2, and that was going to be worth 89.2%. And let's sit in here and take a look at this auction. This looks like it's pretty normal, or at least from our purposes for north-south. We open a club with the south player's hand, right? You're opening your longer minor here. West makes just a weird call on this one. They bid a diamond. you're not supposed to overcall 4-card suits. It's kind of weird, but they have a normal auction to get to 3 no trump. And on this auction, as East is the no trump player, we'll see what happens. The King of Spades gets led here. And take a look at why Ash chose to do this. This is a very good player, Alex Perlin here. He's actually, I believe, a guy that he's won quite a few of the national robot tournaments here. So here he makes a pretty reasonable choice by leading the King of Spades, knowing that right-hand opponent has relatively short spades and lefty has bid some spades here. So he's kind of making a calculated risk, hoping to set up partner suit, and it ends up being amazing, right? He actually sets up a couple of tricks in partner's hand. He just needs to try to get out of the way of those. But honestly, just sitting back and waiting for your tricks on this isn't too bad, right? They end up playing some diamonds, getting some tricks there, but now we get to kind of set up an entry in partner's hand with this club lead, but also we get at this spot where we're just taking some really easy tricks on this hand, right? And at the end, South just has everything, right? Notice East just has no choice here. They can lead a heart and South has all the tricks, or they can lead a spade and North has 2 spades and can lead a club to South, right? So here, getting it 2 tricks is pretty amazing. Let's see what happened at this table here. So the 10 of clubs gets you to a down 2 position as well. Here it goes to the ace, and then they're always going to take 4 diamond tricks in this hand. There's nothing you can do to stop that. But really, where are there other tricks on this one? Because the hearts are so bad for them, this is just brutal, right? And now we're just kind of being passive here. We're trying to get out of our hand and not give away tricks. We know hearts is a bad lead, so as long as this hand never leads hearts and just is super passive with their choices, they're going to be okay. And notice they never lead spades on this contract, but still, until the very end, they've just set up enough tricks to get it 2, right? And now they'll take their ace of diamonds. And there goes our down 2, right? Those of you that got it 2 got 89.2%. Those of you that only get it 1, which I was included in that one, unfortunately, 55.5%. But still, remember, just defending 3 no trump is good stuff. The auction was pretty much the same everywhere. Some pros decided to kind of flip-flop. I was one of those. I bet a diamond instead. This is when you think you're doing poorly. You kind of do something weird against the robots, but here it just goes a diamond. Pass, and they balance with a no trump on your right. They have a little stamen, and then they get to play 3 no trump as well. So East-West is going to find their way no matter how we try to mess with the robots. And if you misdefend like I did, you're only getting it 1 trick as opposed to the 2 that the other players get it for 89.2. So good job to you guys. Great results here, and defending sometimes gets you your best scores, guys, and this is a classic example of that. And let's sit with Brad Moss for board number 4 here. And all of us had pretty much the same auction on this hand. This is not going to go any differently no matter where we are. We open a no trump with our nice 16 count here, right? Nothing we're going to do. Or sorry, it's just 15, but still, very nice hand. And we see 3 spades by the North player. Now, I would need to tell you that this is not standard. Usually when we agree an expert standard to play this as a splinter bid, and that's exactly what the robot plays it as, it looks more like this, right? We cross out this 4th heart and we add a card to one of these minor suits, right? So this, in a standard situation, if you agree to play it this way, should be 1 spade, 3 hearts, and some version of 5-4 in the minors, right? We would be stamen with this hand in a standard method. However, the robot plays this as this, right? They will, in fact, have a 4-card heart suit here. So make sure you understand that. So if you have 4 hearts, you would almost always prefer to play hearts, especially knowing that partner is short in that spade suit. And here, take a look. They do recognize here, yes, we will have 4 hearts. So make sure you're taking that information. If you play this, if you're not playing expert standard on your card, you might never need to worry about this because you're just going by what the robot says. But if you do, like players like Brad and myself, will at least initially when we saw this bid by the robot, we assumed they only have 3 hearts. But here, they will have 4 in Robot Town. But here, normal to be bidding 3 no trump. What you're going to look at in these spots, folks, when partner makes this splinter response or when the robot does, look at your holding in that suit, right? Are you worried about getting just caught through with this spade suit, or are you okay? And here we're more than okay with ace king jack third of that suit. And let's take a look at how Brad plays it. Not surprisingly, they lead a low spade from their nice holding, knowing that they're seeing shortness and dummy. And this is just going to be all about setting up diamonds pretty much, right? Brad might have tried to set up some hearts, and you're going to be really well rewarded on this hand when queen jack tight is to your left. So he played a heart to the ace, diamond to the jack, I'm guessing here, or diamond to the king. Okay. He guessed it this way. It didn't matter. You can see ace queen is to the left, and we have more than enough time to kind of handle the rest of this. And we're going to see how it gets handled. Once we play hearts at some point, it's going to just be golden. But he's going to play diamonds first. And now he has all sorts of options, right? He's watching what they're pitching. And here goes a heart. Before he plays the diamond, he wants to see if the jack of hearts is falling. Take a look, folks. He's setting up a squeeze in this spot. Right? So before he cashes this last diamond, right, he wants to see, because he saw them split that queen initially, right? When it went low heart towards that king, you're not going to see the queen almost ever unless they have either queen jack with some other cards or they have singleton queen, right? So he's just trying to determine right now, okay, is this falling? And if it is, I just have a claim. But if not, I'm going to come back to my hand with the king of clubs and play my diamond. And now I might be able to squeeze them in clubs or hearts, right, in this situation. But here it didn't matter. The jack showed, and now he just has the rest of the rippers here. Club, diamond, both clubs and the diamond, making 5 for 11 tricks, and that's why Brad is Brad. Right? Nicely done by Mr. Moss. He gave himself every opportunity to make the most, and he definitely got through with that. 64.2%, and mainly because so many people did this. And showing you how bad my results were, I only made 4, so I was down to like 22% on this one. I think I did make 5. I apologize. I believe I did make 5 on this one. This is one of my okay results compared to the terrible ones I had throughout the rest of the day. But here, when you see a result like this, it's a top board, but it's 64. It just means you had a whole bunch of company in this very nice game here. So good job, guys. And let's see what happened on board 5. So we had varying ways to handle this hand in the results stream. Some of the pros went super deep game on this one, including Brad Moss, who opened a no trump with the south hand, which that's not for the faint of heart, folks. And that is opening up a lot of upside, but also a quite titanic amount of downside, right? So be very careful. I personally, I'm not even. I would say a no trump is just terrible, but it worked out well for one of the players that made the bid. But I think this is a very normal sequence here, and you're looking at Alex here. You open a spade with the south player's hand. It goes 2 clubs on your left. And that's, an interesting choice of overcalls with this hand right here. I would like to have a 6-card suit usually when I make this bid, but not vulnerable. I can see how the robot kind of gets in here. I don't know if I would, though. But it doesn't matter. You see that partner bids 2 hearts now, the north player, and now you're deciding what to do. Now recognize you're not forced to bid, and that is because partner's a passed hand, right? So new suit is forcing by an unpassed hand, even as the overcaller usually, and that's a good agreement to have, folks. If you don't have that, by an unpassed hand, I would just play new suits are always forcing, right? So this avoids confusion, especially if you're an advancing player. It's easier for you to kind of manage these situations. So when they pass first, though, we aren't required to bid, which is why I like 3 hearts with the south hand. I have a little extra, and if partner is short spades, which they rate to, right? They're denying a fit in spades almost always here. I'm okay with this hand, right? I have short diamonds. I have 3 card support for partner's heart suit, and I just might be able to take a whole bunch of tricks and hearts. So I chose to bid 3 hearts, and so did Alex here. But some players just pass 2 hearts, which is honestly, it's an available choice here for sure. And you've already opened the bidding, so here it's okay to just pass 2 hearts as well. I like to give it one more push, but here, even if you give it one more push, partner's not going to go any further. And you can see just playing a part score and making 4 is 85.7%. Some players with the south hand made a weird choice, but honestly, in a robot tournament, it's not beyond the realm of possibility. And these are the players that got to play 3 no trump down 5, right? So some players chose to preempt 2 spades. And I want to tell you that this is bad, right? Never preempt with a 12 count, because you might just be missing a game. However, knowing this is a best hand tournament and also knowing that partner's a passed hand, these players in this part of the result structure took a calculated risk to say, hey, I don't think I'm going to miss a game if I open 2 spades, especially because partner's a passed hand. And now they're kind of, hoping to get a little bit of variance in the mix here without taking too much risk on their own side. However, they get quite lucky that the opponents kind of freak out and get to 3-no trump and just can't make this contract. It's just a brutal assault for them, down 5 for 250, right? Some other players got to play 4 hearts, and that's with an aggressive bid. And here that we're not going to look at Brad doing that. He opened a no trump, but here some players chose to bid 4 hearts. And again, I don't know if I want to be playing 4 hearts with this hand opposite a passed hand, especially with the robot in the mix. So I think 3 hearts is probably your better choice, but those of you that were aggressive were paid off handsomely with 98.6% to bid 4 hearts, and these are the players that kind of made that choice. So here, I kind of liked splitting the difference right in the middle, just like Alex did here. Just 3 hearts, and let's see what happens, and give partner an opportunity to go right or go wrong. And here you would still be rewarded mightily for just playing in a part score going plus 170. All right, let's take a look at 6. So now we'll get back to Brad Moss, who kind of had a more normal take on this particular hand. And honestly, I started with this same auction. It's an interesting one because you have a lot of ways you can go about this hand. I think it's too strong to do anything but open 2 clubs. And think about it this way. You have a full 21 points, and you have a 5-card suit. So this is kind of a classic upgrade. The question is, do you upgrade to open 2 clubs and rebid 2 hearts, or do you upgrade like Brad did, open 2 clubs and just bid 2-no trump to show 22 to 24 balanced? I'm okay with any way you want to do this. The key thing is here we get to play 3-no trump, and on this particular auction we'll take a look at the lead. It's actually a heart, right? So suppressing our heart suit ends up being quite good for us here. They lead a heart, and now we get a nice bit of tempo on this hand. They haven't gotten off to their best lead, which as we can see is diamonds, right? So let's take a look at how Brad managed this from this point. He won the ace of hearts, and now they return a club. And at this point, he could take a club finesse, but he wants to actually get way more information before he makes any decision here. And watch what he's going to do. He's going to now play some hearts, and what he's looking for is mainly what's going to go on in clubs, and also please opponents pitch some spades, right? If the opponents pitch spades, we're going to take extra spade tricks, and here there's one, right? And we're just watching for that. Notice as a professional or an expert bridge player, we're rarely counting every suit. We're just looking for the highlights, the stuff that we need to go right for our side to do well. And here the highlights are spades, right? If they're pitching spades, that's good. And if someone's pitching a lot of clubs, that's probably worth recognizing as well. And this is the pitch that makes it hand over, right? They pitch a spade from their jack 4th, and now Brad plays a low spade to the queen, high card short side, back to his ace and king, and he gets the best news. He knows already by counting that this is going to come down. Now, maybe they continue to pitch badly and do something in this club suit, and there it is, guys. Brad's running good, because now when he plays a spade, they pitch a club, and it goes king of clubs. There goes that queen, and there's the jack. Notice, though, this is super cool. We would wonder if Brad would get this right. Take a look at this trick. Once he plays this king of clubs, or excuse me, back here, he plays the king of spades and the 9 of spades. If lefty pitched a diamond here, now Brad could actually end play west just by exiting a diamond, and now they have to lead a club towards him. Way tougher to guess that, right, than the way this played out just by them burying their queen of clubs. But as this shows you, this is worth 98.3%. The beauty of this is, guys, if you play 3-no trump as well like I did, if you don't play it as well as Brad, you still get 93.4%. Those of you that went this route, right, you open 2 clubs and rebid 2 hearts, you got to play 4 hearts, but the reason you were kind of punished in this spot is just because 3-no trump was ending either equivalent with making 4 or making 5 in these spots where the robots go a little bit wrong as far as what they pitch and what they do. So there we go, guys. 3-no trump was the huge winner. However, if you played 4 hearts making 4, you still got 69.9%. And don't worry, guys, when you see these huge results up here at the top, don't worry that you missed out, right? If you get 69.9% for playing in a normal game, you're doing great, right? Do not worry about that. You don't want to be swinging for those fences unless you think you're having a terrible game like I did at this point, because you're opening up that variance. If you stay in the middle and you just get those extra percentage points just for being normal, you're doing just great, guys, and that'll be best for the long run. All right, let's take a look at these last 2 boards. All right, so this is my result on board number 7, and honestly, I thought this was somewhat normal as far as I'm concerned. I opened a diamond, and the reason I do this, guys, is I open pretty much every time I'm playing in a best hand tournament, right? Even with this 11 count, if you pass, it might actually go all pass. As you'll see in a second, if you do pass, right hand opponent will end up opening the auction 2 hearts with their 11 count and their 6-card heart suit in 4th seat. But here, I get to play 2 hearts in a totally different way. I open a diamond. Partner makes the inverted minor suit raise. So this 2 diamond bid is, hey, partner, I have a good 10 or more, and I have diamond support. And now when it goes 2 hearts on our right, I like defending, right? I opened a diamond in a weird way because I'm trying to kind of confuse the robots because, again, I think I'm having a terrible, terrible game, right? A club is obviously a more normal opening bid, but I chose to go this route, and I get rewarded because now I get to double 2 hearts for penalty. Notice that we know, both of us, my partner and I, that we don't have a major suit fit, and we just have some sort of decent hand with the minors. So here, before I made this double, I kind of looked to make sure the robot was going to take it as penalty. And anytime you see this guy, you see biddable hearts, which is the suit that they've overcalled, that's a penalty double, right? It won't say penalty, as you can see here, but when it says biddable their suit, that means we're ripping for penalty. And here, just sitting back and taking this down 2 is worth 99.5%. So if you get to play for penalty, and you'll notice even if you open a club, you can get to a spot where you get to double this for penalty because partner's going to have this sort of call, right? So here, that's where we wanted to be. Those of you that did not get to play doubled saw an auction like this, right? You chose to pass, and instead of it going all pass, right-hand opponent actually balances in this 4th chair with the 2-heart opening bid, and you get to take that down. You actually defended better than I did. You get it 3 tricks for 96%. So here, choosing to pass will get you to play 2 hearts. Choosing to open will sometimes, and as you can see on my auction, will get you to play 2 hearts doubled, and the rest of the results are just kind of aberrations here. So here, opening a club or a diamond might get you to play 2 hearts doubled. If you don't open, though, you'll get to play 2 hearts undoubled for just down 3, and you're happy to kind of defend on this end, right? So good stuff there. Let's take a look at the last chance to excel, board 8. And let's sit back with Brad Moss again on this last board. There were a lot of different results here. Here, Brad's playing 6 diamonds, making 7 for only 50.2%. And that's because a lot of you were playing 6 no trump. One of you actually played 7 no trump and got very, very nicely lucky. And others are playing 7 diamonds. I would tell you that 7 diamonds ends up being a pretty great contract, but I'm not sure how you can find out to scientifically play that contract. So let's take a look at how Brad did this. And here, he saw partner open a diamond, and now the choice is, how the heck do we deal with this hand? Now, there are a couple of different ways we can go about it. We can bid 2 clubs to game force, right? And if we do that, we'll end up, game forcing initially and then getting to a spot. But here, Brad just chose to show his diamond fit right away and maybe get to that right strain immediately. And we're too strong for anything else, right? If you do anything else, you're kind of limiting your hand to a certain number of values, and you have 18. So you really want to explore slam. Anytime partner opens a bidding and you're like 18 plus, you're thinking about slam right away. So you're trying to find the best possible way to get there. And North bids 2 spades, which is really an attempt to play 3 no trump, right? 2 spades is not showing 4 spades, folks. Don't get this wrong. This started with an inverted minor suit raise. So 2 spades is just, hey, partner, I can't stop hearts, but I can stop spades, right? We're going to show stoppers up the line. So 2 spades denies a heart stopper, but shows the ability to stop spades. And now Brad just bids 3 hearts. Now 3 hearts, for our purposes and for the robot's purposes, is just going to be, hey, partner, I can stop hearts. And it's going to be a means to an end. Brad is not doing this to try to play 3 no trump. He's making this bid to continue to force so that he can now try to play slam afterwards. And partner denies a club stopper basically by bidding 4 diamonds. And now Brad gets to key card in diamonds. He sees that partner has 2 key cards with the queen. And then he bids 5 no trump just to kind of see if partner is willing to bid a grand slam, and partner's only willing to bid 6 diamonds. Recognize that 5 no trump does a couple of important things for our side. It shows that we have all of the key cards and the queen of trumps, right? So very important, partners led into that information. And it says, hey, I'd like to find out about the kings you have, even though Brad knows North doesn't have any kings below the trump suit, right? The trump suit's diamonds, and he's looking at the king of clubs. But what he's trying to convince partner to do is, hey, if you have some extra stuff over there, partner, I'm giving you an excuse to bid 7. And to be honest, I would probably consider bidding 7 with that North player's hand, right? Think about it. They haven't shown any extra values, and they have a nice 15 count over there, right? So it's tough to not want to do that. And as you can see, this is a great Grand Slam because we're going to get to pitch a heart in the South player's hand on that long spade. All right, so the spades end up being so amazing with King Jack third opposite Ace Queen fourth that you're just cold for 7. You can't possibly know that during the auction, which is why getting to 6 diamonds is just a spot where you expect to be in a good spot, and you're a little unlucky that partner spades are exactly what they are, right? Give partner like ace 10 fourth of spades instead of ace queen fourth, and maybe give them an outside jack of clubs or something to supplant those points. And now you have to hope either spades are breaking, and if they're not, you're just going to make 6 always. So I think 6 diamonds probably the safest contract. Some of you got to play 6 spades. Well done with your 4-3 fit. It must have been a pretty scary contract. Those of you that were in 6 no trump just kind of had an auction like this. There's your game force, and then it goes 2 spades, which is now natural, guys. Right? And now 3 diamonds. Hey, I have some diamonds. 3 no trump. 4 no trump quantitative, 6 no trump, and now you'll play there. And then those of you that got to play Grand Slam, congrats, guys. You made a Grand Slam. 7 diamonds is your best Grand Slam, by the way. 7 no trump ends up being amazing, but not really where we want to be. If we're going to play in a Grand Slam, make sure you play in your safest one, and that is clearly diamonds on this. So congrats, guys, to the victors, right? The great scores that were out there. Amateurs had a wonderful week, and we hope to have more of the pros back either this week or next week when everyone's back from the World Championships. But until then, guys, great job this week. Thank you so much for playing. And for those of you that didn't get in this week, you'll be in next week for another round of the weekend tournament. So we'll catch you on that. And for those of you that haven't signed up just yet, in the comments here is a link to sign up. Go ahead and click on that. Sign up one time. You play every weekend, and you'll see how you stack up against some of the better players on the planet. So, guys, thanks for joining, and I'll see you next time. Take care.